and welcome to the final episode of the podcast. Originally, season 1 was going to be 12 episodes long, but when Beth reached out to me on Instagram and I took a look at what she was up to with her BAO Skincare range, I knew I had to have her on the podcast. Not just because her products are natural, organic and vegan certified, but her story and journey to bring BAO to life is incredible. Sit tight to hear about Beth's battle with Crohn's disease and how this has been instrumental in her approach to life and business. What if the smallest decisions we make as business owners and consumers could have a lasting impact in the world? This is what we question here at the Business of Universal Kindness podcast. If you're curious about living more naturally by choosing products that are kind to humans, the planet, and the creatures that we share it with, then keep listening. And if you're operating a business that creates these types of products, then pull up a chair because we're about to find out what it takes to build a company that makes money and does some good in the world too. I'm your host, Sarah Henson, email strategist to mission-driven e-commerce companies. Join me on this journey as we explore what it means to take radical responsibility for our choices while also making an impact that can change the world. Because universal kindness is everybody's business. Thank you for joining me today, Beth. It's so good to have you on the podcast. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Enjoying the lovely sunshine.
I know. It's almost like it's summer or something, isn't it?
It is, finally.
Finally. Yeah. So I like to start off my interviews with my guests with a question about what did you want to be when you were a kid? So would you like to start us off with that?
Yeah, great question. So it was a really easy answer, to be honest. So the number one thing I always wanted to be when I was a child, all through my teens, was an artist. All I ever used to do at school was draw and paint and make things. And even at the weekends, in holidays and summer holidays, Mum and Dad always used to send me to our local. It's called the Arts Institute, so it's like an art university, and I used to do Saturday school.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's all I really wanted to be was art and design.
Oh, and did you follow in those footsteps then until you started BAO?
I did, yeah. So I obviously finished school and then I went to college and I did a 2-year course. I think it was an advanced ABCE. I don't think they're around anymore. In art and design at the Arts Institute. So specialised in fashion and design and photography, and absolutely loved it. And then of course it came to the decision. The dreaded question, do you go to university or not? And, I came from a private school background. So, of course, going to university was kind of a given, although I was very opposite to that. I didn't really want to go. But after many conversations with my parents and my teachers, we decided to pursue a university. And I went to Kingston University and did graphic design and photography.
Oh, wow. So staying with the creativity side and the visual creativity
Yeah.
side. And so where did that lead you then?
Well, interestingly, my life has took a bit of a turn. So I went to university, only did the first year. Don't get me wrong, I loved it, and like you said, I'm a very visual person, I'm a very creative person. But I think the design degree I chose was very conceptual, and it was a little bit more serious, I think, than I'd hoped. So unfortunately, yeah, I just did the first year and then kind of rewound and went back to, I guess, what I originally wanted to do, which was just to travel and to see, different countries, different cultures. I'm a massive water baby, love windsurfing, water sports, surfing. So of course, went to Cape Town in South Africa with my boyfriend at the time, and yeah, lived there for 10 months. And amazingly, it was a massive blessing. It was there that I actually fell in love with kind of the holistic way of life, natural kind of skin remedies and natural food, because my boyfriend's mum was a beauty therapist.
Mm.
So she completely opened my eyes to all this fantastic world of health and beauty, really.
So what kind of work were you doing when you were in South Africa?
So I was only young, you can imagine. So I was 19 years old. I'd always had a job through school and college, doing waitressing and retail. So I kind of carried on that really, and just did some waitressing, worked in some shops, did a bit of modelling as well, a lot of surfing, which was wonderful. And it was a wonderful, great experience. But I think I was still very young to have obviously moved a long way away from mum and dad,
Yeah.
from home to a country that's beautiful, but as people are aware, it's bit of a different culture,
Yeah.
and a lot going on. So yeah, kind of came home after I think 10 months or so, and then carried on another journey.
So I'm curious about your surfing background. When did you start surfing?
Yeah, so I learned to surf in South Africa. My
Ah,
boyfriend at the time, he's proper South African, so very keen surfer. And yeah, he taught me how to surf, out there with the sharks, because there are actually sharks in Cape Town.
yeah.
So it's a little bit daunting. But yeah, learned to surf over there. Absolutely fell in love with it. Like I said, I've always grown up by the water anyway, so water sports is my thing. But I'd never done surfing because, of course, you don't really have surf in Bournemouth. So yeah, fell in love with it there. And then, of course, when I came home, all I wanted to do was surf. I just didn't know what else to do. That's all I kind of loved. And that's when I just, yeah, got 2 or 3 jobs, worked my butt off, and I think it was about 18 months later, maybe just over a year later, I moved to Australia.
Yeah, I can imagine that Bournemouth surfing isn't quite as attractive as South Africa. So, is that why Australia called to you then?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I came home, obviously thought, right, I love my surfing. I want to go away and do it, but I want to go somewhere that speaks English. That's so awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere that speaks English, I can surf and I can work. So, of course, back then, I think this was 2004, 2003, got the visa. And of course, yeah, Australia called, and that's where I went. And I actually lived there for 4 years,
Oh, wow.
and it was incredible. And then, of course, that's where I just really, really put all my love and energy, and just fell in love with the holistic way of living.
So that leads me to my question. It's like, okay, so you love your surfing and you love this holistic way of living. How did it come about that you started your own skincare line?
Oh gosh, yes, a long story, but I'll do it in a nutshell. So
Well, you've got quite an interesting story, haven't you? Because you've been quite a health journey. So I'd love to get into that and, tell our listeners a bit more about, what started it all for you.
yeah, absolutely. So interestingly, back to South Africa is where I had a lot of kind of stomach issues. I really suffered with eating and found that things irritated it. And I always had, well, like I said, stomach problems. And it was my boyfriend at the time's mum that, took me to her gynecologist, took me to nutritionists. We went to all these amazing holistic people to try and kind of pinpoint what was wrong with me. And no one could really find out what was going on. So then, of course, fast forward to Australia. Went to Australia, became a surf instructor, was loving that. Still had my stomach issues. I lost quite a bit of weight as well. I mean, I was very, very fit and active person, and I'm a very healthy person too, but I was quite small. And I carried on with my life, steered away from certain foods, certain drinks and alcohol. But yeah, just had this wonderful life of surfing, doing yoga, and I was actually waitressing. And it was then that I think I was there kind of a year and a half, and I thought, gosh, I really love it out here. I would love to now study something, something that I'm passionate about, something that I want to do every day for the rest of my life, that will obviously make me a living as a job, but also something, where I'm helping people, I'm giving back, and that I love. So, of course, it kind of made sense to then go and do a diploma in natural beauty therapy and nutrition.
Mm.
And that's where it kind of started. So, of course, did this, wonderful diploma. It was a school of naturopathy, so it wasn't just a college. It was,
Mm.
I was surrounded by homeopaths and acupuncturists and nutritionists and massage therapists. And honestly, it was so idyllic. It was in this gorgeous kind of big cottage in the middle of a valley. It sounds crazy, but there is just, plants and beautiful flowers and Australian birds everywhere. And it honestly was so gorgeous. And yeah, and I, of course, fell in love with beauty. But what I fell in love with was the skincare, and, putting loads of creams on, and making masks, and just, I think, massaging and learning about food. And of course, that's when people started to kind of then pick up, oh, have you heard of irritable bowel syndrome? And oh, maybe it's your gut. And I think that's where the journey then started. So then I just went full throttle, literally reading every single book under the sun on nutrition and food and gut health. And like I said, this was back in 2006, I think. Gosh, yeah,
Hmm.
2005, 2006. And I'd kind of heard about Crohn's disease before, because actually one of my friends in Australia, Fee, she actually had Crohn's disease, and she was very poorly, very tired, constantly going down to Sydney to hospital to have all these procedures. Where now looking back, it's so interesting because that was then where my life was going to go, and it's just amazing, kind of thinking about all of that. So I spoke to her a little bit about it, and thought, oh gosh, I can't have that, surely not. No, it's really serious. And so yeah, I just carried on my career working as a beauty therapist, which of course was a blessing because, as you know, with any stomach issues, they're stress related, aren't they? So I wanted a job that was very calming and I enjoyed, and it wasn't stressful, and I wasn't being shouted at or given targets. So yeah, I love just working as a beauty therapist, and that was
Wow.
in 2009 when I came home.
And so at what point were you diagnosed with Crohn's disease then?
So that was it when I came home. 2009. So it was 6 months before I came back to England. I got extremely poorly. I was, like I said, really fit and healthy. I was actually working at a gym at the time as a sales manager, showing people around the gym. So I was doing all my exercise, eating really healthily, the usual. But I just was extremely tired. I started running to the toilet 10 times a day. I just couldn't be far from a toilet. I found that everything I ate hurt my tummy. I dropped a load of weight. I was already a very small size 10, and I dropped a load more weight. And interestingly, it was actually when at this time my mum and dad had come to visit me for the, I think, second time, and yeah, we just got chatting about everything, and I'd ended it with my boyfriend, my Australian boyfriend over there, and I just wasn't feeling very well, and I kind of just thought, you know what, I'm 20, what was I, 23, 24. I think I want to come home now because I just wasn't feeling well. And it was, yeah, then of course came home, moved back in obviously with mum and dad, wasn't very well, went down to the GP, which when I was younger, mum and dad had taken me to all the GPs and specialists, and they obviously hadn't found anything. But luckily, we'd just gone this one day and we had a junior doctor at our local surgery, and we told him everything. He looked at me and he just said, yeah, I think we need to go and do a colonoscopy. And of course I was like, oh what? Oh, what's a colonoscopy? Oh my God. So of course, for people that don't know, that's where they do put a camera up your bottom. They go inside your large bowel and they have a look around and see what's going on. And that literally, I think I was rushed in the next day. And weirdly to say, I was so happy because there and then they said, yes, you've got Crohn's disease and colitis.
Wow.
And that's when it started. And I just remember falling to the ground with my mum and saying, I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't just IBS.
Yeah. So you were happy that you'd actually got a diagnosis and you knew that there was something that you could do about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because that's the frustrating thing, isn't it, with any illness or disease, is kind of not knowing how to make it better. So you kind of get that diagnosis and go, okay, cool, right. I'm not a drugs person. I don't like artificial medication, but seriously, hit me. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm curious with Crohn's disease, is that something that you develop or is it something that you're born with? Because obviously in your early childhood, you didn't suffer from any of that. At what point does it kick in?
That's a really interesting question, actually, and I'm sure I have asked my consultants that over the year. I think I think the answer is everyone who has it is actually born with it. It's just it can take different amounts of time to actually show its face.
Right.
Basically. So my mum had always said that apparently ever since I was born, ever since I was little, I always used to hold my tummy and say I've got tummy ache. I don't feel right. I've got tummy ache. My whole life, she said. But of course, as you know, with kids, just could be a tension or
Yeah.
nerves. I used to panic apparently when she used to drop me off at school. I used to say, I don't want to go, I've got tummy ache. So of course, yes, I guess I had it. But then with major stressful life changes, I guess, and actions, it's just kind of tipped me over the edge.
Yeah. And so how old were you when you got diagnosed then?
I was, so it was 2009, so I think it was 24. Yeah.
Okay, 2009. So you've had this diagnosis for, what is it, 11 years now. So how has your life been during this time? Is it something that you just managed then? that you have to just manage and you can't cure yourself with it.
Yes. Well, funny enough, yes and no. This is the thing with IBD. It's really tricky. So yeah, the since having it 10, 11, 12 years, to start with, when I was diagnosed, they put me on a load of high strength steroids, so oral steroids that I took every single day for 10 weeks. And for those people that don't know, that basically dulls down all the inflammation. So they're
Mm.
horrible, horrible drugs, of course. You don't really want to take them long term, but they do help the inflammation. So I'd been on those for 10 weeks, got so much better. And then they chose a couple of drugs for me. I think it was pentasa and mercaptopurine, which I had to take every day. I think it was like 8 tablets in total every single day. And I did that for 4 years. And I wouldn't say I was fine, but I was definitely good. I could go out drinking and go for dinner and exercise, and work. And I have worked for myself for the past 10 years from home. So that's been a blessing as well, that I've never had to, ask someone to go to the toilet, or
Mm.
I can't come in today because I'm so tired. So yeah, I was absolutely fine for 4 years. But then part of my journey, which is why I started BAO Skincare, is when I came home from Australia, I just thought, oh, what am I going to do for a job? I don't want to work in the beauty industry in England, because it's a lot more about makeup and nails, and I'm more skincare and natural.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, right, well, I'm not sure what to do. I'll just be a receptionist, which I loved, being around people and managing people and doing that, and worked my way up to practice management. And this was in a health clinic. So it's still in that kind of wellness industry. And it was then I kind of just started waxing myself, as in beauty waxing, because I couldn't find anywhere back then. And of course, that then led into, oh, my friend, can you do my friend? And oh, I've got a friend and she'd like to be waxed. And within 6 months, I was doing it full time from home, which was incredible. So that was, thrown back into the beauty industry, but just working for myself, doing facials and
Mm.
waxing, which I loved. And then again, that's where the journey kind of carried on, I guess, with regards to natural skincare. I was obviously doing loads of waxing, which I love, doing facials. But again, because this was back in 2009, 2010, there just weren't a lot of smaller organic natural brands, for individual therapists that they could purchase
Mm.
and use and potentially sell. So that's where I kind of thought, oh, well, back to my roots. I love making things and I love skincare. So I did some research, and I went up to Greenwich in London, and I studied a few courses in actually how to make your own skincare products.
Oh, wow. So you saw a gap in the market from what you were doing in the beauty industry, working from home, and you thought, I know, I'm going to fill that gap. I'm going to create something myself. So you trained in actually creating it yourself by hand, like putting your little, um, what I was going to say is chemistry set, but you won't use chemicals, but like your little set of ingredients, and you make it by hand. Is that right?
That's exactly right, and I still make it by hand to this day, and it's incredible. So I've been making skincare products, I think, for 8 years now, and that's exactly it. So I am literally in my kitchen, my bain maries, heating up all of the shea butter and the plant oils, and then the waters with the emulsifier, which is natural. And yeah, and I started off by, of course, just making some simple face creams and face scrubs, and I literally sold them to my customers in jars with labels, handwritten
Wow.
labels. And it kind of, yeah, really took off, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, I really like this, and my skin's, really improved. And I thought, oh, this is wonderful, because I love making products, I love helping people. So I, carried that on, of course, for a few years. But then it all ties in with, like I was saying, with stress and my IBD and everything.
Mm.
Because as much as my business was going extremely well, I was seeing, 50 girls a week. So I was literally back to back waxing for 40 hours almost a week. So, which was
I
fun.
can, I can imagine that's quite backbreaking, like bending over people.
This is why I had a back operation last year.
Oh.
Honestly, it's crazy. Yes, exactly that. So it was exactly that. I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is getting a little bit too crazy now. So me being me, why don't I open a beauty salon? Let's just do that. So of course, I just thought, yeah, why not? And then the reason I did it is so that I could focus on my skincare. But I opened the beauty salon, and I had it for 4 years, set it all up from scratch. I had a team of kind of, I think, 7 at one point. So me and 6 other girls. And it was fine. I enjoyed it, I guess. I'm not very good at managing people, I will say, because I think well, from what they've said, I'm too nice.
Mm.
And I kind of, yeah, I don't know. It was just very, very tricky managing a team of, 6 girls, and they're all in their 20s, and it was a bit, ooh.
Yeah.
So it was hard work, but unfortunately, whilst of course setting up the business and working in the business and running it all myself, of course IBD crept in again, and that's where I got really ill, and I was just back and forth to hospital constantly, which again, I guess, was a blessing I had the girls, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to work at all.
Mm.
Whereas at least I still had my team, they were still working, I was still able to pay myself a little bit, and we still had the shop going. So it was great, but I just wasn't feeling it. I just thought, I'm just not well. And like I said, I had it for 4 years, and then when I closed it, which was 2018, yeah, gosh, I honestly can't keep up with the years. Closed it in 2018. And then that's unfortunately when my IBD just took a massive downturn, and I was completely hospitalized all the time. Couldn't leave home for 18 months because I couldn't be more than a meter from a toilet.
Wow.
And that's where I had my 2 surgeries last year, so 8 months ago, and I have a stoma now. So it's it's been a journey, and obviously,
Yeah.
I launched BAO Skincare.
Yeah, so I mean, you're very upfront about your health journey, because you talk about this on your Instagram quite a lot. But for the people who don't understand what a stoma is, would you mind just going into that a little bit?
Absolutely. So yeah, like you said, I've got my BAO Skincare Instagram page, which I put little snippets of it on there. But I do have the Guts Truth one, which I really try and explain a lot more what it is. So with a stoma, basically, so I had the surgeries. Is You have an operation where you're going through your stomach, and your intestines are, sorry, this is a bit graphic, but you have your intestines cut, and then they are pulled out to your stomach, and then they're sewed up, and you have a bag put over your, what is basically your small intestine, and I basically go to the toilet in a bag on my tummy.
Mm.
And it's really hard to explain without sounding a bit weird.
It's kind of like replumbing, isn't it? Taking your intestines and taking them out to the side a little bit. I'm saying that because my mum actually has one herself. She was diagnosed with bowel cancer last year, and she had to have part of her intestines removed. Hopefully, she's going to have a reversal at some point. But with the pandemic at the moment, everything's a bit crazy. But yes, it's quite an invasive procedure, isn't it? So you had that, and you also had back surgery. So
Yeah,
it sounds like you've gone quite a journey over the last 10, 12 years or so, from just having, I wouldn't say just, but, having problems with your guts and everything, taking medication, and then it getting worse and worse throughout your journey, and then eventually having to have operations. So
yeah.
how are you right now in terms, because I mean, obviously that was a couple of years ago that you had your operations.
No, 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 only 8 months ago. Well, 6
Oh, okay.
months ago.
Wow. So it's quite,
Yeah,
yes.
this is what's been very tricky with BAO Skincare, because I only launched BAO at the end of 2017. So obviously had 2018, 2019, but the entire year of 2019, I was in hospital basically. So I was on a lot of drugs. I was in hospital. I had, so I had my back surgery last June, which of course was intense.
Mm,
And then only a few months later in September, I then went back in and I had what was called a loop ileostomy. So that's where they do create the stoma. So they don't take any of my bowel or anything. They literally just create a stoma. And like you said, it's replumbing. It just basically gives my large bowel chance to breathe, to rest, and hopefully the inflammation would go, because of course I'd used every single drug under the sun and nothing was working. So went in for a loop ileostomy September, but then unfortunately by November I was still really poorly, still running to the toilet, and so I went back into hospital. So this was just November gone, and
Mm.
had what's called a subtotal colectomy, where they went back into through my stomach, and they actually removed my entire large intestines. So I have no large intestines now. My stoma it can be reversible because I still have my rectum, which is the inside
Mm.
bit, obviously. But unfortunately, that is still very, very inflamed. So we're just in the process now of deciding what to do with regards
Yeah.
to another surgery. So, answer to your question, oh my gosh, I am 1,000 times better. If we didn't have lockdown, I would be back to normal.
Mm.
So I'm a little bit frustrated that I had all these incredible plans this year to do
Mm.
events and talks and festivals and everything with BAO Skincare, and of course I'm back in lockdown with everybody else. So
Yeah.
but no, I'm much better. I can walk the dog. I'm back exercising, not rushing to the toilet. I can eat so many more fruits and vegetables now, garlic and onions. And it's just silly, simple things, which
Yeah.
your mum's probably understanding it's just trial and error, really, isn't it? When you've got a stoma, because it's not a magic bag
No.
thing. You still got to be super careful.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. But yeah, feeling 100 times better.
That's amazing. I mean, that sounds you have been through quite a lot. So tell me, obviously, from 2017, having launched BAO, what, obviously, given all of your health journey and everything, how has it been in terms of actually launching a product or several products? Talk to me a little bit about what your range is and things like that, but also how you manage to actually make all the products yourself, run a business, send them all out, and all of that is involved in a business that you run from home.
Absolutely, honestly, yeah. When you put it like that, and we're actually talking about my life, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. It really, really has. I think gosh, the one main answer is I think when you do a business, if you're doing it from your heart and you're passionate about it and you love it, and other business owners will tell you it doesn't feel like work, even
Mm.
though I work my butt off. I work hours and hours and hours, and especially when I first set up my waxing business, I literally used to work 20-hour days. I don't work that now, thank goodness. um, but yeah, I honestly don't know how I've done it. I think I'm a very, very strong person. I'm very organized. Like I said, I absolutely love what I do. So yeah, at the end of 2017, I'd spent, I think, 8 months to a year just trialing and erroring what I wanted to do with my brand. And as we said earlier, I actually formulated all of my products. So they're all my own recipes. I created them all. I still make them all myself, but like we said, by hand in my home studio. So it is still just me. I do all my own social media. I do all the packaging, the labeling, everything. And I think it's
Wow.
just, yeah, it's a bit crazy, but I think it's just down to the fact. I think answer to your question, how I do it is just, yeah, love and passion, and being organized, really. And I think I'm just so grateful that I do my business from home with
Mm.
my illness, because that's what my friends and my customers can't believe, is that whilst in and out of hospital, I've still been fulfilling everybody's sales. I've still been making the products. And I'm just so grateful. And you've probably seen me put it on Instagram quite often as well, for my customers. Like, honestly, the love and support I get from my customers is just incredible. Like, when I was in hospital and I said, oh, thank you so much for your order. I won't be able to get it out till like next week or 2 weeks because this is happening. And they were all just so wonderful about it and really
Mm.
patient. And as you've seen, I've got looking back, if I'm all honest, I probably would have launched 4 or 5 products to start with, not 15.
Oh,
um
wow.
yeah, because
You have 15
I
products.
have 15 products in my range because I
Wow.
couldn't decide on what to do. So I thought I kind of wanted to do a little bit of everything. So I have,
Mm.
yeah, face care products, which, we've got a face cream, a face scrub, lip balm, floral toning water, and face oil. So that's kind of my face range. And then the body care range is lovely as well. We've got a body cream. I've just launched a body wash now to match it a couple of months ago, which is going very well. And then ironically, just before lockdown, I'd launched a hand cream and a hand wash. So
Ooh.
that was perfect because of course they're all natural and they're organic certified and vegan certified as well. So, you know, they don't dry out your hands. And yeah, I got body scrub, bath salts, and I think that's it.
That, I mean, that sounds an incredible thing to be able to produce every, or however, every week or whatever. So that's something that I'm curious about. So what does a week look like for you? Do you have like a regular schedule of like, okay, on a Monday I make 3 face products, and on a Tuesday I do this, or is it a case of you make a batch and you see how long it lasts and then make new stuff?
Yeah, well, funny enough, that's how it used to be. I used to kind of go, oh, okay, today I'll make a few of those and a few of those, and that would be fine. Whereas I think, yeah, 2 years gone now, I'm a lot more structured and organized with my week because I literally have to, like I said, because I do everything. I can't let a week go by without, you know, doing social media or replying to trade customers. So yeah, my typical week now, and I was talking about this with an acquaintance about being organised. So I kind of have Mondays is my social media day, Tuesdays is my kind of media and like PR and kind of catch up with trade customers and stuff like that. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I just do general admin. So, like, you know, taking photographs of all the products, maybe doing a bit of labeling and just general catching up. I honestly don't know where the days go. And then obviously packing orders. I pack orders every single day. And then Fridays now I choose as my making day.
Hmm.
So I guess I look at my stock. Obviously, I look at my stock every day, but I do a stock take once a month. And of course, I know my 3 top sellers. So I always make hundreds of those because they just fly out the door. And then I just keep on top of it really. And I always like to have a certain number of products in stock at any time, but not too many because, like I said, I make everything fresh and handmade. And although it's the waters, so the creams have got preservatives in, I still like to make it fresh with
Mm.
you know, even with the salts that don't. So I'd rather make small batches. But yeah, as the brand has definitely got much bigger the last 3 months. I'm making much bigger batches, and yeah, like I said, I'm kind of surrounded with bottles and jars at the moment. I've taken over our house, which my boyfriend is luckily very understanding with, because it's just a day when I'm doing a big trade order. It's literally like, don't come in the kitchen for 3 days because you can't move. I've just got boxes and jars and everything everywhere.
So on that note, you say about a trade order. You obviously have your website where you sell direct to customer. You're also selling to retail, is that, or wholesale?
Well, interesting, yeah, not as such yet. So I as you may have seen from my Instagram and my website, so I've just recently, March actually, just been certified organic and natural by Cosmos Soil Association, which has been a 12-month process. It is honestly so difficult and so tricky. And now any product I see in the supermarket that has that logo, I fully respect. So I've been doing that for the last year, and then also been vegan society registered. So since launching my new packaging in March, the whole plan was, yes, to kind of, like I say, go to all these events, go to festivals, go do some talks, and also contact retailers and bigger wholesalers. But of course, with COVID, I've unfortunately not been able to do that, and I've had to have all the events cancelled. So I haven't branched out yet. However, I have got 6 stockists throughout England who have actually just contacted me. So I've got some beauty therapists. I've got a beautiful shop in Walthamstow in London called Head and Hands. I've got a lovely shop called Indigo in Oxford. And I'm just talking with some others at the moment. But primarily, it's kind of on my website. And then I also work with quite a few beauty boxes as well.
Oh, okay. So subscription boxes or gift
Yes.
companies that include your products. All right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you said about your your 12-month journey to getting certified with the organics. That was the organic one, was it?
It was, yes.
Okay, so talk to me about what it means to be organic and to be certified vegan, because it's quite, like you say, hats off to anyone who's got those certifications on their products. So just talk us through a little bit about what that means for the end user.
I think, yeah. So I mean, I always pride my brand on, on us being authentic and honest and a transparent company. And even since launching a couple of years ago, I've always used the finest ingredients I can, organic where I can, obviously always natural, but anybody can do that, and that's absolutely fine. And unfortunately there are no legal guidelines in place for using the term organic in the beauty industry, which I still don't understand. It's really tricky. So anybody can make a face oil and say it's an organic face oil, even if it only contains 10% organic ingredients.
Wow.
So I think what I wanted to do, as much as, like we said, I'm a very new brand, I'm very small, it's just me, it's all my own money, I have no investors, I've had no loans, I still thought I really, really want to just go for it and get this certification, because that would just kind of make me stand out a little bit from all the other brands that are gorgeous and lovely and natural and organic, but it just, my customers are number one, and I want them to trust in my products, not me just say, oh yeah, it's got organic ingredients in and they're vegan and oh it's all nice, but actually having that certification, everyone knows that that, well, basically that ingredient from seed to product is completely ethical, sustainable. No one or no thing has been harmed in the making of that ingredient, and I'm just really proud, yeah, to have them now displayed. And the same with the Vegan Society. When I first launched my range, I had two products, which I still have now, Lip Saviour and Nourish Yourself Balm, that had beeswax in. So organic
Mm.
beeswax, absolutely gorgeous ingredient, so soothing and creamy. But all my other products were vegan apart from these two. And I was getting so many vegan ladies and gents, contacting me saying, oh, I really want to try that, but it's not vegan. And oh, do you do a vegan lip savior? And I just got so many messages that in the end I thought, you know what, I'm just going to have to drop the beeswax, and I'm going to get an alternative. So I researched, I looked everywhere for a nice alternative wax, and I just couldn't find one. But at the time, I'd found Candelia wax, which I used for a few months, and it was okay, but it definitely wasn't the best. And then with actual more time and research, I've looked into actually where it comes from and how damaging it is, and the people that are there to actually pick the herbs and the shrubs and make it. It's just not nice where I was getting it from.
Mm.
So now I thought, well, actually, let's get certified, because then I can, send off all these ingredients. And like I said, it did take 12 months because it was just constant back and forth with the Soil Association. How about this wax? Is this okay? They'd go off, no, not approved. Okay, right. How about this one? No, not approved. And they were so strict that eventually I found this gorgeous creamy berry wax, which is obviously made from a berry and this gorgeous plant and the leaves as well. And it's really, really lovely, but it's certified. So I thought, okay, fantastic. So I now know and feel better and safer knowing that everything I use has been certified.
Yeah, and like you say, it really does put you, positions you uniquely in your marketplace. That
Yeah,
it's no small feat getting these certifications,
God, no.
and people do really care about what's in their products because they're, we're more conscious consumers in terms of what goes into our products in terms of ethical, sourcing, but also what it's going to do to our skin. And so do you find, obviously with your health journey and everything, do you find that you always use organic products and things like that because of your health issues as well?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, back to Australia. That's where, of course, I was exposed to what organic was really. I didn't really know, to be honest. So I learned all about organic and organic skincare and plant oils and what they do to the skin. And then, of course, like you said, when I then started getting ill and poorly, I just thought, well, my body has been pumped full of drugs so much that actually I'd rather, if I can kind of change small things in my life that aren't chemicals and aren't drug based, then that would be brilliant. So I've actually been using natural organic skincare products since I was, well, actually started all with South Africa. So yeah, probably since I was 22. Um, and I do notice a big difference. And also, like a lot of my customers say, although some organic, vegan, natural skincare products can be quite pricey, you only need a little bit, and that's
Mm.
what a load of my customers have found. Like with my bestseller face with recovery face cream, it's £31 because, of course, unfortunately, I have had to put my prices up a bit because, of course, the cost of the ingredients has literally quadrupled. But it's £31 for a 60 ml jar, and that will literally last 3-4 months.
Mm.
Whereas you think a tiny little jar of maybe a commercial brand, you kind of shove your fingers in, don't you? And you're like, oh, I
Mm.
need more. And because it's only made primarily with water, you're not really getting any nourishment. Whereas with plant oils, nut butters, essential oils, because they're so powerful and so healing, you do only need a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think you need to be, because obviously your passion has driven your business, and you wouldn't
Yeah.
be where you are today, like you said, if you weren't so passionate about it. But it sounds like your customers are very passionate about it, and you care so much about your customers. And the fact that previously you said that while you were in hospital, you were saying, "Oh, I can't get your order out to you for a week or so," and they were so understanding, and you were saying how much they've been supporting you in terms of encouragement and things like that. So, how have you found? Because I know you're very present on Instagram and you are the face of your brand. So, how have you found that has helped in building this customer following and people who love what you do?
I think, yeah, I think exactly that. And again, I've been told this by so many of my customers, is the reason they love my brand and they love the products is because they know who's behind it. I think that's what they always say. They just, they love the fact that if they're on my website and they've got a question or they're not sure about something, they can just Instagram me, or contact me, and that I'm, not this huge company with all these different people. And I think they know that I am literally doing this because I love it. I love helping people with their skin. I love making people feel better about themselves. I've, as you know, suffered very, very much with my health, and I've put on 30 kilos in the last 3 years because of all the drugs I've been on. And so I know how important self confidence is. And if I can just help a little bit make someone feel better about their skin, then that just makes me so, so happy. So
Mm.
I think that's the thing. Like you said, I am the face of my brand, and with suffering as well with sensitive skin and rosacea because of these drugs and medication, I've actually gone through it. I'm not just someone that's like, oh, cool, I'm going to make a skincare brand. Yeah, I'm going to sell some products. Cool. That's not why I did it. I did it because I tried to heal myself and I wanted to help my customers. And it's just turned into this lovely, lovely community. And I think paired up with my IBD, it's just really, yeah, a really lovely community of helping everyone, helping each other, really.
It's amazing. Um, I'm interested to know, because obviously you do everything yourself.
Yeah.
How many orders are you processing a week or a month or so? So we get an idea of like how much product you're actually shifting, you're making each Friday or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm probably, gosh, I haven't looked at my proper books at the moment for the last few months, but I think I'm probably making about, well, selling about 400 orders maybe a month at the
Hmm.
moment. So, and most of those are 2-3 products. Some of them are just one product, but I generally make batches of, yeah, probably my best sellers, I probably make batches of 200 at a time. And then some of the others, like say healing body oil, which is popular, but it's not as popular. And because it's just oils and essential oils, I probably only make 50 at a time because I like to keep them pure and fresh. But
Mm.
yeah, I am packing orders every single day. And I do that, put a podcast on, and I literally, just have it all lined up. And handwrite all the notes. And of course, I put on my Instagram today. I always put in a little free sample with every order where you haven't received a free gift, so that people can try out the other products without obviously buying them. So I love it when people write to me in the notes and say, "Oh, I'd love to try the face oil. Could you please put one in?" So I put one of those in.
Obviously you have plans to grow over time. I'm curious to know a little bit more about how you actually got people to know about you in the first place, because social media is great, but there's also the case of just actually building your following. Was it a case of just being present on Instagram, or did you use any other marketing techniques to kind of get people to know who you were?
No, I think it kind of, again, yeah, like I said, it's just me that does the social media. I think probably one of the biggest, not secrets, is, and I can't remember who said this, one of the podcasts I was listening to, basically, if you want to be successful in anything, follow someone that is successful. So I think with social media, as you know, it changes, doesn't it, day to day, how things are, and hashtags, and when to post, and all of that. It is honestly a full-time job. But I've just taught myself. So I kind of, I just go through Instagram and I have a look, and I'm just like, oh, okay, so they're posting about that time. Right, well, they're a really big skincare brand, so they must know what they're talking about. So, okay, I'll post then. And then looking at my insights on the back end, right, my customers are always on between 6 and 9, so I have to post between there. And then, just looking at hashtags and just kind of working it out. And I think I'm very lucky because I've got my art and design background. I do love things that look nice. So I did photography as well. So, I take all of my own photos. I've had a couple of lovely freelance photographers as well come in and do some proper ones. But, I literally go into my garden on a sunny day, put a cloth down. I've got a proper camera. I go in there, zoom up, edit it. And I think it's just about kind of, making stuff look nice, of course, because that's what's attractive, but also, like you said, I'm the face of my brand. So when people go onto my Instagram page, I want them to see that, hi, I'm Beth, I'm the founder, and it's me making these skincare products.
So a lot of it is down to organic growth through social media. How much of a role does, because obviously I'm an email marketer myself, so how much of a role does your email play in terms of repeat customers?
Yes, now that's the kind of next thing, because I use MailChimp for all my kind of direct marketing, and I've used that for 10 years with all my waxing as well, but I've never actually looked behind the scenes to see, how many. I can see how many people have opened them, but I don't know what the rates are and how good they're working. But again, I've just kind of gone on, good old Google, and had a look at there and just worked out, and we're all customers, aren't we, for something? So we always get bombarded with our inbox, and how many times do we just get these emails? You go delete, 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 and then you'll get one, and you'll think, oh, what's that? And I kind of work on that as well. So just anything, clothes brands, food, and I think, oh, well, why did I open that? Oh, it's because actually they've used these words. So I kind of just teach myself, really, and just send those out. I'm doing them, I think, once a week at the moment, just trying to, now I'm better and I haven't got brain fog as well. I'm, hoping to do videos as well. So I really want to do videos on my website with how to use the products, me talking about them. I want to do some blogs, because it's not just about me selling skincare products. I want to help people, like, help themselves with their skin.
When lockdown is over, if we ever actually get to that point where we're back to normal life, I'm using air quotes,
Yes.
what's next for you in terms of growing your brand? I mean, obviously you had a plan to go to events and things, but like, are you going to introduce more products, or have you got something up your sleeve that this is like your next big thing? What's the future look like for BAO?
Yeah, well, 100%. I would, love to contact some retailers. I've got my eye on Planet Organic and Cult Beauty, in particular, because I love the founders of both those brands, and they're very kind of female orientated as well, and all about just caring about the products and the brand. So yeah, I would absolutely love to contact some bigger retailers. But also, of course, most importantly, I'd love to get to some events. Meant to be doing, we're hopefully doing Top Draw, which is in London at the Olympia. That's at the end of September. So that will be a fantastic way for me to showcase my products. I'd love to do some more events. I'm also speaking with a manufacturer at the moment, but don't worry, it's not a factory manufacturer. They're an actual artisan manufacturer, so they still actually physically make all the products by hand and label everything by hand. But I just need a bit of help now moving forward with my bestsellers. So I'm speaking with them, so that's really exciting. And then with regards to new products, I have got 2 or 3, I think, that I would absolutely love to launch, I say, by the end of the year. So if I have time, that would be wonderful. And I would absolutely love to launch those. So I think they're a bit more as well around self-care. So So skincare, I've got a couple of ideas, but actually I would love to produce a candle, and I would love to produce a room spray, because I think, my brand, it's a skincare brand, but it is all around kind of, well, the tagline is making skin happy, but it's just like making you happy. And everyone seems to absolutely love the scent I use of the sweet orange and frankincense. So I thought, if I can make some candles for people as well, and I make my own room spray that I've used for the last 2 years. So I'd love to maybe launch a room spritz.
It sounds like you're at that point. You're at the precipice of like scaling your business if you're looking for someone to help you with manufacturing, because at the end of the day, everyone knows there's no way to go up in terms if there's just you in the business working yourself. So you're at that point of ready to expand and serve your customers so that you can provide them with the best skincare and self-care products as well. What message would you like to leave our listeners with, whether it is to do with skincare or whether it's about building a business? What would be your message?
I think, without sounding corny, honestly, I think this lockdown, as much as there's been so many awful things come out of it, there's been so many positives. And I think it's encouraged us all to actually take a step back and realise what we want out of life, and just to slow down. And like I said, I know it's corny, but seriously, if you can do something you love for a living, then do it. Honestly, just crack on and do it. And so many of my friends and customers say, "Oh my God, it's amazing you run a business. Wow, that's incredible." Yes, it is, but I think anybody can do it if they put their hearts to it and their minds to it, and they're organised, and they're doing something they love. So I think I would just say that, just do what you love, really. I think life's too short to be stressed and running around and taking people for granted.
That's a lovely message. Absolutely. So where can people find out about you? Obviously on your Instagram. Can you tell us your Instagram handle and your website, please?
Yeah, so I would probably say first port of call is Instagram, because I'm on that constantly. So it's at BAO Skincare, so BAO Skincare. That's on Instagram and Facebook. I have just joined Twitter, but I'm still learning what to do with that. But then, of course, our website is baoskincare.co.uk. And you can find, there's all information about the products on there. And like I said, I will be doing videos. And we're really looking at the packaging at the moment as well, because we've changed to glass and aluminium lids now. But of course, there's still the plastic pumps, and we're looking at doing refillables. So hopefully in the next 2 months, we should be offering refillables as well. But all the information's on there.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And what did you say are your bestsellers?
Yes, so bestseller is definitely Recovery Face Cream, which is just your daily face cream. Use it every morning after cleansing. Hyaluronic acid, absolutely gorgeous. And then it would be Refreshing Face Wash, which is just a really quick and easy, lightly foaming, SLS-free face wash that smells like squeezed oranges. It's so yummy. And then our third bestseller is Radiance Face Scrub, which is just a lovely, creamy shea butter face scrub that you can use every night if you want to, because it's gentle enough, or you can just use it 3 to 4 times a week. But it really, really does make your skin brighter, and it leaves it so soft. So they're my 3 bestsellers.
Wow, they sound almost good enough to eat, to be honest. I just want to say thank you for joining me today, Beth. It's been a pleasure learning about your journey and your story, and the resilience of going through all those health issues and still coming out this end with a successful company that sounds like it's only going to get bigger. So thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to the Business of Universal Kindness podcast with me, Sarah Henson. If you enjoyed the show, then please subscribe and leave a review so that more people can find it and join us on this journey. Find the show notes and more episodes of this podcast at sarahhenson.co.uk/podcast. Music is by Studios On It from Audio Jungle.